fine. Have you studied the question answer of our last class? Okay, I hope all are studied. Then in our first video, we discussed about animal fibers, wool. Right? Yes, the processing of wool, fiber to wool, right? Okay, then in this video, we are going to discuss about the following points. You know that our chapter is fiber to fabric, and this is the second part of our video. Okay, now we can move to the important points we discussed in this video. First of all, about processing fibers to wool. First we discussing about the processing of fibers into wool. How we process these fibers into wool. Then secondly, we discuss about the second animal fiber, silk. Okay. Then the third and last point, life history of silk moth. Okay, these are the three main points we are discussing in this video. So, we are discussing about the first topic, processing fibers into wool. Yes, we know that wool is obtained from where? Yes, the fleece of the sheep, goat, yak, etc. Right? Yes. The wool which is used for knitting sweaters or for weaving shawls, it is a finished product of a long process. Okay. We are using wool dresses, sweaters, shawls, etc. But these are obtained from where? Yes, animal fibers, right? Yes, this wool. The wool which is used for knitting sweaters or for weaving shawls, it is the finished product of a long process. It involves following steps. Okay. Yes, it involves 6 steps. So we can discuss which are the 6 steps. Step 1, that is shearing. What do you mean by shearing? The fleece of the sheep along with the thin layer of skin is removed from its body. Okay, this process is called shearing. We know that we obtain wool from the fleece of the sheep. So, in the first step, this fleece of the sheep along with the thin layer of skin is removed. It is removed from its body, removed from the sheep's body. Okay, then this process of removing fleece of the sheep is known as shearing. Okay, in this process, this is shearing. The fleece of the sheep is removed. Okay. Yes. Do you heard about barbers? Yes, what are they doing? Yes, they cut off our hairs. They shave our birds, right? Yes. Then these barbers are used some types of machines. Like that machines similar to those used by barbers are used to shave off hair. Okay. In the case of sheep fleece, we shave the sheep fleece, and this process of removing hairs is known as shearing. And this is done by the machines similar to those used by barbers. Okay. Similar to those used by barber machines. Okay. Then we know that this fleece hair provide woolen fibers. Right? These woolen fibers are then processed to form woolen yarn. From woolen fibers we get woolen yarn. These woolen fibers are processed to form woolen yarn. Okay, then this woolen yarn is which yield what? Yes, our woolen fabrics. Right? Okay, then is shearing hurt the sheep? Does shearing hurt the sheep? No, shearing does not hurt the sheep. Why? because the uppermost layer of the skin is dead. Okay, the uppermost layer of the skin is dead. So, shearing does not hurt the sheep. Okay, do you notice your father shaves his beard? Yes, your father shaves it. And also, you cut your hair. But does it make you hurt? No. Why? Because the uppermost layer of the skin is dead. Right? Okay. Then, the second step of our processing is scoring. Right? What do you mean scoring? The sheared skin with hair is thoroughly washed in tanks to remove grease, dust and dirt. Yes, it is simply washing. Right? The sheared skin is washing. For what? To remove grease, dust and dirt. The sheep hair may contain grease, dust particles. So, this can be removed by this process, scoring. Okay, the sheared skin with hair is thoroughly washed in tanks. It is done in tank. Okay, in tanks to remove grease, dust and dirt. Then this process is called scoring. Right? Okay. Then this is the processing. This hair of the sheep. Skin with the hair of sheep is washed thoroughly in a tank. Okay. Then our third step is sorting. What do you mean sorting? The hairy skin is then sent to a factory where hair of different textures are separated or sorted. Sorted means separating. Okay, we know that the sheep have different textures of hairs. So, these hairy skins is separated. Okay, third step, first step in our first step is shearing, that is removing of hairs. Then second step scoring, that is washing, and in third step the hairy skin is sent to a factory. It is done in a factory where hair of different textures are separated. Hairs are separated or sorted. Separated. Sorted means separated. Okay. Yes, this is the process of sorting. Sorting of wool. Okay. The factory workers are sorting. They are separating the hairs. Okay. There are different types of hairs. So, in different textures. So, these are separated. This is the sorting of wool. Then, our fourth step is that the burrs. What do you mean burrs? B-U-R-R-S. Burrs. That is small fluffy fibers. Small fibers. They are picked out from the hair. Yes, picked out from the hair. Then the fibers are scored again and dried. Okay, first of all, the burrs, that is a small fluffy fibers are picked out from the hair. Then what is done? Scored again. Okay, it is washed again and then dried. Okay, then what do you mean these small fluffy fibers? Do you see this? Okay, this is the picture of burrs. This is a small fluffy fibers. Okay, this is separated. This is picked out. Yes, small fluffy fibers are picked out from the hair. And fibers are scored again and dried. This is the fourth step. Okay. Okay. Then our fifth step is dyeing. Yes, what do you mean dyeing? The fibers can be dyed. What do you mean dyeing? Colored, right? The fibers can be dyed in various colors. Okay, we know that our natural fleece of sheep contain having colors black, white or brown, right? But this fleece of sheep can be dyed in various colors. In this fifth step, we dyed. The fibers can be dyed in various colors. Okay, you can see in the picture, these fibers in different colors: blue, yellow, pink, orange, green, etc. Okay, we can color the fleece. Yes, then the last step, step 6. The fibers are straightened, combed and rolled into yarn. Okay, the fibers are straightened, combed. We combed the fibers and then rolled into yarn. Then there are different types of fibers. Some may be longer and some may be shorter. Then these longer fibers are made into wool for sweaters. Okay, the longer fibers are made into wool for sweaters, and the shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen clothes. Okay, the longer fibers are used for sweaters and the shorter fibers are used to woven into woolen clothes. Okay, these are the 6 steps. Yes, this is a very important point. That is occupational hazard. What do you mean by occupational hazard? We know that wool industry is an important means of livelihood for many people in our country. But the sorter's job. What do you mean sorter's job? Yes, separation of the fiber. This job is very risky job. Why? The sorter's job sometimes get infected. The sorter's job is risky as sometimes they get infected by a bacterium called anthrax, which causes a fatal blood disease called sorter's disease. So this job is very risky. The sorting, separating of the fiber, this is very risky job because sometimes it is infected by a bacterium anthrax and causes this blood disease, fatal blood disease called what? Sorter's disease. Okay, so in such risk faced by workers in any industry are called what? Occupational hazards. In this industry, in the wool industry, the sorter's job is very risky and such risk faced by workers in any industry. In any industry, in some industries, some risks are faced by the workers, and such risk faced by workers in any industry are called what? Occupational hazards. And silk is obtained from silk moth, right? Okay, then silk fibers are also animal fibers, and also the silk fibers are formed from spin from silkworm. Silkworms spin the silk fibers. Then what do you mean sericulture? Do you heard about sericulture? The rearing of silkworms. Okay, the growth, caring the silkworms. The rearing of silkworms for obtaining silk is called what? Sericulture. Okay, then we can move to the life history of silk moth. You already studied in your 6th class about the life history of silk moth, right? Yes, what is the life history of silk moth? This silk moth lays eggs, then the eggs are converted into larva, then this larva is converted into cocoon, then this back to the adult moth. Okay, then this life history we can discuss in very detailed. Yes, first one, the life history of silk moth. Yes, egg. The female silk moth lays egg. This is the first step. Okay, then this second step, from eggs, silk moth hatch larvae which are called caterpillars or silkworm. From eggs, Yes, caterpillars or silkworm are formed. Then this third step, that is pupa or cocoon. Yes, it first weaves a net to hold itself. This pupa weaves a net to hold itself. Then it swings its head from side to side. During these movements of the head, the caterpillar secretes fiber made of a protein. During this time, during the side to side movement of the head, the caterpillar secretes or produces what? Fiber made of a protein. Okay, in this stage, fibers are made by caterpillar. Okay, then this protein hardens when exposed to air and becomes silk fiber. This protein hardens when exposed to air and becomes silk fiber. Soon the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fibers. Then the covering is known as what? Cocoons. Okay, covering is known as cocoons. So, in this step, it first weaves a net to hold itself. Yes, this silkworm. Okay, this silkworm weaves a net to hold itself. Then it swings its head from side to side. And during this moment, it secretes fiber made by a protein. Then this protein hardens when exposed to air and becomes silk fiber. Okay, then soon the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fibers. Then this covering is known as what? Cocoons or pupa. Okay, this is the third stage. Then the fourth and last stage is what? Is the last stage of silkworm. Okay, silk moth is formed. Okay, these are the 4 steps. Okay, now we can move to one video of which explain the life cycle of silk moth. Okay, let us watch the video.
I'm sure you all know about silkworms. The life of a silkworm starts when a female moth lays eggs on mulberry leaves. After some time, these eggs hatch into larvae. Now, what are these larvae known as? Any guesses? Right. These larvae are known as caterpillars or silkworms. Slowly, these caterpillars grow in size by feeding only on the mulberry leaves. The next stage in the life cycle of a silkworm is pupa. When the caterpillar has grown large enough, it starts weaving a net around itself so that it can easily hold itself in that net. It now secretes a fiber made of protein, which solidifies and hardens when exposed to air for some duration of time. This is known as the silk fiber. Caterpillars continue to spin silk fiber till they get completely covered by them. This silk covering in which a silkworm covers itself is known as a cocoon. Further development of silkworm takes place inside the cocoon. After some time, the pupa enters the adult stage and emerges out of the cocoon as a moth. The entire process thus continues and is known as the life cycle of a silkworm.
Okay, now we can learn about silk yarn. Okay, silk yarn or silk thread. It is obtained from cocoons of the silk moth. We know that silk yarn is obtained from the cocoons of the silk moth. Then there is a variety of silk moths and they yield silk yarn in different in texture. Okay, there is a variety of silk moths which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn they yield is different in texture. Thus, there are different types of silk moths and they form different types of silk yarn and silk fabrics. For example, tassar silk, muga silk, kosa silk, etc. Okay, then the most common silk is the mulberry silk moth. The silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is very soft, lustrous and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors. Okay, the most common silk is the mulberry silk moth. Okay, then this silk is obtained from mulberry silk moth, and silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is very soft and lustrous and elastic and can be dyed in beautiful colors. Okay, then we can, okay, this is the mulberry silk moth and this form mulberry silk yarn. This is very lustrous. Okay, lustrous and elastic, very soft and can be dyed into variety of colors such as mulberry silk fabrics. These are the mulberry silk fabrics in different colors. Okay, understand? Now we can move to the last session of this video exercise. There are three main questions for you. First of all, what do you mean by shearing? Second, what do you mean by rearing? And what do you mean by sericulture? Thank you.